welcome to the Victorious Living Solutions podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Nikeya Young, and co-host with me today is
Rodney Young Jr.
All right, you guys, and we are back. It is season 9.
Yes, almost 10.
Oh my gosh, almost 10.
We're counting down to 100 episodes.
Down to 100 episodes.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm excited.
You guys, the theme that we have for this season is kingdom business. Kingdom business. And so all season long, we're going to be talking to you, and we're going to be bringing amazing guests to talk to you about all things kingdom entrepreneurship. And all that is just being an entrepreneur, and being a business owner, rather, and being in the kingdom of God at the same time, and how to empower you and encourage you in that, because in times of uncertainty, and we are definitely in those times, it is always best to have something that can't be taken away from you. We're seeing so many stories in the news of people being laid off. They said over 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs in corporate. There's been a lot of talk about that.
A lot of that
happening. And that's just Black women. I don't know what it looks like for other demographics outside of us, but it can be rough out here. And so entrepreneurship is the title of this episode. Entrepreneurship is ... And we're going to fill in those blanks because let's face it, entrepreneurship can be rough. It is definitely not for the weak. So that's my first friend of mine, Dr. Constance Mason. She's been on this show before, financial expert. She actually put this on LinkedIn as a morning prompt and said, all right, y'all, fill in the blank. Entrepreneurship is. And the responses were hilarious. I posted a comment on hers, and mine was, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
So I already said it's not for the weak. It's a marathon, not oh boy, do we wish it were a sprint though.
Yeah.
I wish you could just run, woo, victory.
I mean, but it's not fun if it's not a suit, I mean, I like the journey.
I mean, the journey can be fun at times, but the journey can also be very, very discouraging at times. And so we're just going to talk about both sides of that today. And I thought it would be fun for us to hop on here and fill in that sentence with whatever we can think of. Entrepreneurship is. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear that?
Well, for me, I mean, entrepreneurship, that's a loaded question, right? I mean, I'm pretty much a serial entrepreneur since about the age of 9, where my first business was cutting grass. And it was because I had a goal in mind. Mm-hmm. I wanted video games. And it wasn't Christmas. Mm-hmm. So my mother, who is my first entrepreneurship mentor, says, well, I got a good idea. Why don't you, you can earn the money yourself. Uh-huh. And since that day where I took my dad's lawnmower and went down to everyone's house, and I was a cute kid, so everybody let me cut their grass. And
somebody I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally went to Gameco Land that night. I don't know if any of y'all are, old enough to know about what that is. But it's a place where you could buy used video games. And I was able to buy multiple games, and that was it. I was hooked.
I love it.
So just to know that. So I would say entrepreneurship is freedom, mm-hmm. because I had the freedom to create my own income.
Yeah. And
something just clicked when I was able to do that. And I mean, ever since then, I've been trying all kinds of businesses.
I love it. So he actually stole mine. I was actually going to say, one of the things I was going to say was it is freedom.
Yeah.
And it is, but I want us to talk about something that is going on right now, causing some ruckus, some commotion, and that is Auntie Tabitha Brown. If you have not heard of Tabitha Brown, you must be living under a rock. She is,
I'm living under a rock. I
oh,
know who she is,
okay, I was going to
but
say,
I didn't know about this thing you were telling me about because
okay,
I do
yeah.
live under a rock. I really
Yeah,
do.
but he knows who she is. But yeah, so basically, recently Tabitha Brown did a live on her social media platforms, and she very lovingly laid out some truth. And it was not, first of all, I have to preface it with this, you have to know your target audience. And so she was not targeting everybody with this post. She was specifically speaking to people who are entrepreneurs who are in that season of struggle bus. This could be the early stages. This could be you've been at this for a while and you're stuck or whatever. But she was speaking specifically to a person who may be viewing this, who is struggling. You've got great ideas, like your ideas are phenomenal. It just, for whatever reason or another, it has not taken off yet. You know, maybe your follow through needs work, or there's some piece of the puzzle that you haven't quite figured out yet. And man, when you figure out that piece of the puzzle, you are going to be off to the races. However, right now in this moment, that is not the case, and you are struggling. You've been robbing Peter to pay Paul. You haven't been able to pay your bills. You owe all kinds of people, whatever the case may be. And she's speaking to that person. That is who was the target of her message. And she just said, it's time to get a job.
Want to take a quick look at it real quick?
Yeah, let's take a look at it real quick.
Real quick, that this is not to discourage you, because I want us to be clear about that first. Okay? You kind of been in this place for a long time. Okay? Now listen, you got good ideas. Baby, you got good ideas. Your execution is not as good. Okay? Your follow through, not as good. The ideas though are great. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And that doesn't mean it's not for you, but right now, these last few months, few years, you know what I'm talking about. Baby, it ain't been working for you, okay? And you're doing a lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul. Okay, you done got yourself in some mess, and it's time for you to get a job. You hear me? You just gonna need to get a job for a little while. Okay, it don't mean your ideas ain't good. Okay, don't mean that maybe one day you could be a good entrepreneur. But you have proven to yourself and everybody else that you owe money to, okay, that it ain't working right now. Okay, it ain't worked for a while. It actually has never worked yet. Doesn't mean it won't ever work. But right now you need to go to work. You're gonna need to get a job, okay? And then keep working towards it, but at least you'll have a job while you are pursuing that thing. But right now, you need to get a job, baby. All right? That's it. I love you. Now go about your business, okay? Have a good night. Tomorrow, have a good day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's here. Don't be mad at me. Okay.
So yeah, and I'm just here to tell y'all, I'm on Team Tabitha. I don't think anything that she said in that post was wrong. I'm really disappointed in us as a society, because when you can listen to good old fashioned common sense like that and go over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go in order to be offended, like the leaps and bounds and stretch Armstrongs that people did to come up with all these think pieces and all of these reasons to be pissed off at this lady who don't do nothing but eat vegan food and mind her business and try to encourage people all day.
Well, okay,
Like,
so what was the main blowback about this? Like what were some of the things that people were saying? Because it sounded like common sense to me, but
literally,
what was some of the reaction?
So some of the people that were mainly upset were saying, well, she needs to read the room. And there's over 300,000 Black women who've lost their jobs. And, it's really insensitive of her to go out here telling people to get a job. And, where are people supposed to find these jobs? And it was just,
Well,
I always try to listen to both sides of an issue.
yeah.
But the more I tried to listen to the perspectives of people who could even fix their soup coolers to formulate a negative opinion about what she said, the more irritated I got. Because I'm just like,
so the main, okay, so the main,
we're not doing this.
The main argument was that it was insensitive for her to tell people that they should get a job if they're not making enough money with their business because 300,000 Black women just lost their jobs. Okay, so
like if anything, okay, let's just unpack this for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, because first there's that. And another group of people were just basically saying, well, that's easy for her to say. No, it's not easy for her to say. Anybody who's listened to
her story is pretty, yeah. I mean, she went through a lot.
She went through a lot to get to where she is. And I'm personally going to just say the quiet part out loud. There is an issue with our people. So we're having an in-house conversation, not in-house because we're having it on the air right now, but there is an issue. We're having it in my house. So there's that. There's an issue that our people tend to have, which is called crabs in a bucket syndrome. There is a certain type of person, and I don't want to say all of us, but those of us who have dealt with some of us that have this problem, you know who I'm talking about. So if you're mad at me for saying this, it's probably you. But there's a type of person who does not mind seeing you climb to a certain level, and they admire you all the way up into a point. All the way up into a point. And then listen, and when you start going past whatever that point, whatever that threshold is in their mind, they start to do everything they can to try and tear you down, try to talk about you, all this stuff. And so to me, the people who have been very vocal on social media about having a problem with this lady, it didn't just start because she gave this common sense advice. There has actually been a growing level of people who all of a sudden just look for reasons to hate Tabitha Brown now.
Oh, so she's just like
it's kind of her turn.
So there are people. So she's getting canceled. Is that the thing? Like
there's a cancel culture weirdness that's been happening, and I've been very interested in it because really I have never seen this.
Told y'all I'm living under a rock. All I know is the woman has some great cooking stuff going on. She's a hard worker. She's an entrepreneur. That's all I know. But there's this now disdain, it's specifically in the Black community.
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
So I
haven't seen white people complaining about her.
So
whenever I see anybody say anything negative about Tabitha Brown online, most of the time, all of the times for me, because there could be somebody white that says something, I just never seen that. Whenever I see anything negative as of late, it has been from other people who look like her. And and it's really unfortunate. And I'm trying to tease it out. And I've never seen anything that nobody's perfect. None, all of us sin and fall short of the glory of God. Like all of us can have an off day or whatever. But like the reasons people come up with to hate this lady.
Well, let's go back to the God part you just said.
Yeah.
You said, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. So this season is called Kingdom Business, right? So
it's
automatically
can't stand her.
Automatically. Yeah. Well, let's talk about that though. I mean, because if the issue was, okay, first off, to hate somebody because they're successful. Well, that's not a kingdom mindset, right? I mean, that's not biblical, right?
It's
That's
not.
not. So we're talking about
That's
so
that
the
Cain
difference
mentality.
between regular business and kingdom business,
Mhm.
right? Is what would you say it is?
Well, to me, and that's a very good question. Kingdom business, that is someone who is kingdom minded. And that is someone who simply knows the truth that I cannot do entrepreneurship alone. I need to partner with God. I'm doing this with God. God is downloading ideas to me for how to carry out this business idea that He has given me. And I'm going to work in tandem with God to, become a successful business owner for His glory.
Yeah.
That is what is meant by kingdom
Yeah, I
business.
would even go a step further and say, not even in tandem. I would say I'm working under him. Like he's
That
he's
part,
he's actually leading the process,
that part.
and he gets to tell me what to do with the
And
business.
I listen.
So so if we rewind this back to this whole Tabitha Brown, debacle,
Hmm.
this is a non-kingdom viewpoint. Like this is, looking at this, they're looking at it through the lens of Black America.
Yeah.
Okay, well that has nothing to do with kingdom principles, right?
Oh, baby,
Because
you done dove
because
to a whole nother
because
podcast topic.
kingdom doesn't matter what color you are.
Right.
So
Come.
it's all about God and His principles and integrating those principles in the business. Now you might do it in the context of a community, right?
Uh-huh.
So if your clients are Black or if you serve a certain demographic, sure, right? You have that, but to me, kingdom business is all about taking those kingdom principles and operating your business like that.
Yeah.
And once again, submitting the business to the Lord. So, yes, I mean, I know a lot of non-Christians that use Christian principles,
Mhm.
right? And you can use Christian principles in what you do without actually following God. And so
Mhm.
I think kingdom business takes it that step further to say, hey, the business, you know,
Mhm.
it kind of don't belong to me, right?
Yep.
It is submitted to him. So that means that Jesus can tell me to close my business tomorrow.
Mhm.
And would I do it? Right?
Right.
Like if I'm really kingdom, I will.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that?
Oof. Whole lot to unpack there. Whole lot. But I will say that yes, that whole haterism thing, crabs in a bucket thing that people do, is not cool. And it's not Christ. It's not
Yeah, it's
kingdom.
that's what I'm saying.
Um
That's a use an old term. That's a worldly. That's a that's no seriously like that is not a Christian point of view. Once again, and we're not discriminating. We're just making a delineation here, between kingdom principles, and then a lot of the standard practices that people do, and that's not one of them.
right.
So I think that a difference is if you took a kingdom approach to what she said, right?
Mhm.
So what does the Bible say, right?
Yeah.
About business, about, if you're one thing it says is that, you must take care of your household.
Must.
And so if you have a business and it's not producing enough revenue and you are robbing Peter to pay Paul, well, that's, the wicked borrow and don't repay, right? So that's also in the word,
Mhm.
right? So you can't do that. Also they're stealing that whole thing, right?
Mhm.
So there's integrity, swear to your hurt, not change, keep your word. So if you take those principles and look at what she said, it lines up to me with some kingdom principles. And I mean, I've personally been there several times where I did have to go get a job. I mean, the business was young. It wasn't mature.
Yeah.
It took about 8 years for us to get to a place where the business was the primary source of income and it was full time. And it is full time now. But that took a while. I mean, it wasn't overnight.
And honestly, some people are, because things are as crazy as they are now with inflation skyrocketing and all this, recession basically going on. Some people got there, but because the cost of everything is going up, 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 it's like, whoa. It used to be, oh my gosh, you just got to get to six figures. You got to get to six figures. Now, $100,000 a year is no money now. Like,
Especially if you live in
that's like
Illinois.
the new, it's, yes, especially if you live in Illinois. Jesus, help us.
Chicago, specifically,
Lord, help us. Whole other podcast. But yeah, so that's like the new, not even upper middle class. That's like
Nah, that's
$150,000 a year is the new $50,000 a year.
yeah,
Like,
you're barely making it.
yeah. And so it's taking a lot more. That's basically my point. It's taking a lot more to survive and pay bills and, just survive and pay bills, not even getting into paying off debts and, wealth building. Just to survive and pay bills is taking six figures now. So some people are finding themselves where, their business had achieved and that was enough at one point, but now they're like, dang, it's not enough. And so, yeah, you might end up, you weren't one of the people that Tabitha was talking about at first, but now life is lifing. And, I took it as, just necessary encouragement that, you probably already been thinking about this in the back of your mind and just didn't want to admit it to yourself. Because when you, and nobody talks about this, when you get to a point where you are used to doing business and operating at your own schedule, at your own pace, making your own hours, and you've been there for a while, just even the thought of going back to work for somebody else ever again is like gut wrenching. It's just like, oh God, like,
well,
I have
especially based on if you had bad experiences.
Yes, and some of us who walked away from 9 to 5 had really, really traumatic work experiences. And if that's you and you are under the sound of my voice, go to therapy and really work through that. Because, and I'm not saying that in a flippant way, like I'm being very serious right now, because some of the things that people go through at work is really bad for their mental health. And it's like, yeah, you left the toxic place behind, but if you never took the adequate steps to process how detrimental that experience was to you, did you really heal from it?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a deeper discussion.
Sure.
But it needs to happen. And that could also be just to try to give these people who have an issue with Tabitha, just to try to give you a little bit of benefit of the doubt. That could have been some of the pushback. But you know how, like, when somebody says something to you, maybe I'm trying, I'm trying.
Yeah,
But you know how, like, somebody says something to you and they're right, but you just weren't ready to hear that truth just then. And so instead of, just being like, okay, you right, you find a way to try to flip it back on the person. Like, people have done that before.
Yeah.
In the past. I mean, it's like before you grow up and mature, but nobody who is fully mature in the Lord should be having a problem with her to this extent.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, let's take a kingdom approach. So if that was you, right? If you were the person on the receiving end of that message and it applied to you, then what would be the next steps? Well, you should take that before the Lord.
Yeah.
Because she's giving advice, but one of the things about a kingdom business is that the business is submitted to Jesus. Yeah. So Jesus, you and Jesus should be talking about the business on a regular basis, right? So it's like, Lord, is this me? Like, should I be taking a job right now, or should I be doing something different? And once again, taking the posture, I'm telling you, the difference between just being a regular entrepreneur, the regular entrepreneur is the master of everything.
Yeah.
That, like, I'm the master of my fate. I call the shots. Mm-hmm. The kingdom entrepreneur is not.
Yeah.
The kingdom entrepreneur is submitted. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like on paper, like I'm the CEO of YCS Web Agency or Thrive NPO, and on paper I operate the business. But at the end of the day, I've got to answer to God about it.
Absolutely.
I've got to answer to Him about it. And so when you get to a place where things ain't working out, that is where you need to dial in. And you need to dial into the wisdom of God also, because maybe it's not the fact that you need to get a job. Maybe you need to make a tweak in your business.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a character issue. You know, what I'm finding, I'll tell you one thing entrepreneurship is. Entrepreneurship is something that reveals your character. It reveals your weaknesses. And it makes you have to confront reality.
It does.
Because either the money is there or it ain't. Okay.
And if it ain't, baby, go get a job. And here's the thing. I think that a lot of people, when they heard, her just saying her loving Southern voice, baby,
Get a job, baby.
It's time to go get a job, baby. I think people heard end of the road. This is it. This is it.
Yeah.
Like, and I think a lot of people, when they go into leave the job and go into entrepreneurship and burn the boats and no looking back, they get so into that mentality that even the thought of get a job, their brain processes it to give up on your business. That's it. You had a good run.
Yeah.
Now it's time to go back out here and be ordinary.
But see, that's one extreme to another.
Yeah.
And once again, if the business and the process is submitted to God, then you should be willing to give it up anyway. Because if that's whatever he wants for your life, what if he has a mission for it? Like, I love my life as an entrepreneur. I love it. Like, I love working full-time as an entrepreneur. Been doing it for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
But what if God has an assignment for me that requires me to be employed somewhere?
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't that the business failed or anything. Maybe it's just that he has an assignment for me. And once again, as a kingdom representative, I take orders and commands from the king. I know that's something we don't know about here in America, but, because we're a democracy. But in a kingdom,
you don't get a vote.
You take orders, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You take orders. It's a different mentality. So my thing is figure out what that is for you and do it, man. And the cool thing is, if having that business is in the cards for you, if that was God's, and many times it is, it's like God gives you an idea,
Yeah.
If that thing is there for you, take that job. If that's the instruction, trust me, you'll be good.
Yeah.
I was in that predicament. So YCS Web Agency was born. It was born a few months after our firstborn son, out of necessity, because I had to walk away from a job because they wanted me to do something very foolish, and I'll just leave it there. But as a result of losing that job, I couldn't get my old job back. So somebody had a good idea, we've been building my websites for years. Why don't you just, while you're interviewing, go ahead and do that? I'm like, good. Well, that ended up becoming a business, right? But and what was funny was that during that time, I tried to get a job hard. Remember? I was out there interviewing, man, I'm about to kill these interviews. And they were great. No one would hire me. It didn't make any sense. But the business kept producing to the point where, that along with revenue as a producer and a musician was kind of, making up our income. So it was very scary, but we ended up kind of accidentally becoming entrepreneurs full time for a while. And, we did that for about a year, but man, it got hard.
Yeah.
It just got hard. And I wasn't ready for the long haul of that at that time. I know I wasn't ready, looking back on it. So I went and got a job. What, right?
And you might not have to do it forever. You didn't do that job.
No,
forever.
I didn't. I got that job. I was there for about a year and a half. And then, that job got to be stressful. It was a long drive, and, the business had begun to grow because I did it on the side.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, well, let's try this thing again. Now let's do it on purpose.
Yeah.
So, burn the boats, right?
Right.
And so I went and, we got a little office space and started. And then a few months in, I'm like, oh, no, this ain't working.
Right.
Literally, I said, in 3 months, if this thing is not producing what it needs to produce, I'm going to get another job. And I did that.
I think that's really good to give yourself that kind of boundary. I'm going to try this for 3 months. So I'm going to try this for a year or 6 months or whatever length of time, prayerfully.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
really pray and ask God.
I mean, the
you know?
business grew, but it hadn't grown to the point where it could be self-sustaining yet.
Yeah.
So while it had shown some good growth over the years, it wasn't ready yet. So I went and got another full-time job. And let me tell you, and I remember when I was interviewing for the job and I got the offer, and I was kind of hesitant about it because I really didn't want to give up my freedom. I really didn't. Like, I didn't want to do it. But I prayed about it. And what I heard in my mind, which I know was God speaking to me, was trust me with this one. Take the job. I remember that. Like, it was, there was peace. I'm like, okay, regardless of what it looks like, I took the job. It was one of the best decisions we ever made.
Yeah.
The skills that I developed on that job, within being there for just a couple months, I was promoted just like that, director level, which gave me a lot of pieces that were missing from my business. I learned on the job. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
I ended up landing one of our biggest clients because of some stuff I learned on the job. So trust me, like, I mean, if the Lord leads you, but once again, that's the qualifier, the Lord leading. Now, use common sense. All right. I ain't trying to be super over spiritually. If you ain't making money, get you a job or something. Okay. But he led me to the right job.
Yeah.
In that situation. The right job gave me the right skills, the right connections for things that happened down the line. And so the business was able to grow. I mean, I think it tripled the next year or something like that. It was because that was the year of COVID. So it's okay. But once again, follow the direction of the Lord.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. I mean, just following his direction. And that applies to all things, but I mean, it really applies to business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Good stuff. Good stuff. So I can tell you guys a little bit about my journey too. And I've mentioned this on this show before about just how I started Victorious Living Solutions as a stay-at-home mom. And being a stay-at-home mom, first of all, that is a job, a whole job, okay? 24/7, 365 job. There is no sick days.
Nope.
There's no health insurance. There is no pay. The pay is getting to see your kids grow up being trained in the way they should go. And so when they are old, they will not depart from it. But in terms of dividends, like, the payoff is seen later. So yeah. Everyone who's a stay-at-home mom is like, okay, we're missing out on a whole income that we could be getting because I'm here at the house. And so stay-at-home moms are some of the most creative people that I've ever met. And that's why we call ourselves mompreneurs, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to come up with a way to still take care of them kids, still get the dinners made, still clean the house, still do the homeschooling or whatever it is, but have some money coming. A lot of them do network marketing things. A lot of them do, so for me, network marketing, it works for people, but I just didn't feel like doing it.
You feel like selling no essential oils?
I didn't. This is no tea, no shade. Like, if y'all do that,
that's a very homeschool mom thing to do.
It's like maybe the candles, and I was fitness instructor. So I was thinking about doing Beachbody for a while. I knew several people who were Beachbody coaches and did really well with that. Just thinking of something that you can do from home. But I've always been into coaching and I've always been into teaching. And so that was, I came up with Victorious Living Solutions, doing that from home while raising our son, and now doing it while raising our son and twin girls in homeschooling. So that has been a journey. I've had some success with my business, but there's always been like this kind of low-level frustration that could be low level, but could also be higher level depending on the season.
Low level is high
that the company is in at the time. But it's like, you just know that if you were doing this full time, you could be way further ahead than you currently are. And that is when you have to, as a mompreneur, do what you can do and let God do the rest. Because there's only so many hours in a day, literally. Like, you're going to drive yourself bonkers trying to do all the things all the time. And you have to keep the main thing the main thing. So, yeah, I want to be a successful business owner, but I'm not going to do it at the expense of my marriage. I'm not going to do it at the expense of my children, right? So there's this balancing act that has to happen. And God helps me do the balancing act. The past couple of years, I would say, has been some of the best years for Victorious Living Solutions in terms of increased media appearances. I know you guys have seen me all over WGN. The podcast has been doing well. I want to get it out to even broader audience. So like, comment, share, subscribe. That helps people see us. Anywho, shameless plug. But that's been going well. I've gotten some clients and they've been paying well. And so that's been fine. But it hasn't, to me, it's not entrepreneurship has cycles where it's like, kind of like the popcorn, if you think of popcorn, where it's like, poof, 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 poof. Okay, right? And then all of it's coming. It hasn't hit that gusher stage where it's like, woo, we're cooking now. Like, pop, 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 pop. But it's popping.
Few pops.
It's popping.
Few pops here and there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, this summer, I think right when summer started, I was like, I think I should get a job. But me being me, I didn't just want to get any kind of job. And this is a good thing to think about if you are an entrepreneur and you're like, I want to have some supplemental income, because let's be real, being an entrepreneur, you have to have some kind of starting capital to get your business off the ground. It takes money to make money. That's just point blank, period. And so you have to, and if you didn't realize that before, I'm sure as soon as you got into it, it did not take you very long at all to be like, oh,
there are such things as business expenses.
There are business expenses. And so for me, I'm like, until I get to the level of rapid fire consistency that I'm striving after, we're getting close. I want to get a job because, hello, I want to know that I have a cushion so that everything is not dependent on a certain number of clients.
Well, a lot of people do that, and I did that for years while I was working those jobs.
Yeah.
So when I was working the jobs, if the business was slow, then maybe some of the money from the salary might have paid for a subscription or something that I needed for the business, or some, maybe some gig money or something like that came back, and we'll use it for that. So that's called being smart.
That's normal.
You take that money, you reinvest it, back into that business. Now, of course, the point is to get your business making money.
Yeah.
So the money, you're actually putting the business's money back in. But until then, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And
this part is not talked about enough.
Nah, and I think
social media glosses over this point. It makes it look like everybody is just an instant success.
Yeah.
And this is the grinding.
People don't know how it works.
Yeah.
But you have to, you got to project how much you're making. But hey, if you don't make it, you still have to pay your expenses. Yeah. You still need to make sure your website is up to date, or whatever it needs. So the idea is take that money, that seed money from that side gig or that job or whatever, and make sure that the business is actually progressing. Now, don't throw it down a black hole.
Right.
That's another thing. Like, don't just throw money in, and nothing's coming back out. Definitely have a plan so that you're at least getting close to making the money you want to make. But yeah, do what you got to do. I think that's smart.
Absolutely. And for me, I wanted to make sure that whatever job I did, one, it could not be full-time, because I don't I'm a full-time mom. I'm a full-time homeschool mom. Right? And so it would have to be something part-time, but also a good thing to do is whether you're doing full-time or part-time work to supplement your business income, a good thing to do is if you can, now if you can't, just get whatever you can get. But if you
Right.
can, try to find a job that relates to your business in some way, or where the skills that you're going to do at this job are going to further enhance your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I want to put a plug in for prayer right there, because let's bring the kingdom part back in.
Mhm.
So here's where you can kind of not cut corners, but here's some little tweaks here. If you're praying, God knows exactly what you need. You don't even know what you need. And that's the thing. You don't even know. You think you know.
Yeah.
So you're saying, oh man, pick a job where, yeah, you might have some idea, but God knows exactly what your business needs. So for me, the job that I got when I told you the second time when I decided to go get a job after trying the business full time, I didn't know what was going to be there.
Yeah.
I had no idea. In fact, the job description didn't even look like it was. That was my hesitancy. Actually, it didn't look like it actually had anything to do with what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It did at first, and then I went to the interview, and it was like, gotcha. It actually, this long title actually means you're gonna do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't want to do that. But the Lord knew what I needed, and he see, what I didn't know is that there was another job that was brewing underneath that job that I was going to get promoted to that had everything to do with what I needed to do.
But I told him that was going to happen.
Right, yeah. But that was after I took the job. That was after you didn't know that before that.
No, but after you took it, I was like,
You picked up on it.
Yeah, we noticed some things, and I said,
But my point is that the Lord knows what you need.
He does.
So pray about, because he might give you a job that might not look like it got anything to do with your business.
Yeah.
But just go with it, because
you don't know what happened to me now, where I'm at now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to me. I actually looked at, so those of you who don't know, I am now an adjunct professor. Yay. I'm so excited. I love my job. It's amazing.
So are you now Dr. Professor Nikeya?
Yes, I'm now Professor.
Doctor
Nikeya is now Professor Nikeya. So yeah, I'm loving it. And I actually looked at I was applying for different adjunct roles because I figured, well, one, part of the target audience that I have for my services is colleges, universities. So I'm like, oh, I could work at one. I could totally do that. And that would be a good way for me to just stay in front of that audience and find out more about the unique needs of, the student body. And, that could help enhance what I'm already doing.
With university is nice to work on too. Yeah. I worked for universities for about 12 years. About 12 years. And it was just nice to be on campus. Like, that whole vibe is cool.
It is. Yeah. And y'all know me. A school love to see me coming. I love school. I love school. So it was perfect for me. I've always wanted to break into higher ed. I used to be a Chicago public school teacher, and so special education teacher. And the highest grade that I taught was 8th grade. But I've always wondered what it would be like to work in higher ed.
Yeah.
But when I set out on my job search to be an adjunct professor, first of all, I was thinking I want to work remote. That was my thing, okay? Because I'm in the house with these kids. I'm thinking that's got to be the best option because I could work with them on something, get them set up upstairs, come down here, bing, bang, boom, teach my courses online.
You need to get away from them mugs.
I'm serious. I'm just telling y'all. I'm telling y'all my testimony.
She loves
that. That's what I had in my mind. I was thinking, okay, it's gonna be a remote opportunity, and I had my mind so set on it needs to be remote and maybe something in business, because I'm working I'm trying to think of things that align with what I'm already
HR or
doing.
something like that. Yeah.
Yes, things that kind of align with what I'm already doing in the services that VLS already offers. Since I've been in that vein already for the past 6 years or so, why switch gears now, right? And so the job that I have now, I saw it a little earlier in the summer, and I was like, oh man, that's really cool. You know how like you'll the Holy Spirit will show you something and it seems so obvious that you kind of like that can't be the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just need to get out of my comfort zone. I don't think I'm not sure. God, was that you? I don't know. Right? Well, I was so stuck on it was in person. I was like, oh, it needs to be remote. Oh, well, maybe. I don't know. Let me go look at some other stuff and then I'll come back. And it was almost like God was just laughing at me, like, okay, if you say so, knock yourself out, but your opportunity is right here. And so that's what ended up happening. I applied to some other remote opportunities and didn't hear anything back. And I was like, oh. And then I started thinking, like, does it have to be remote? Like, does it? Of course, talk to my husband about it because we're both working from home. So if I'm going to go out of the house, which it takes commuting time and extra time, then we're going to have a conversation about that because he's going to have to be the one with the kids on the days when I'm out of the house. And he was just like, yeah, okay. So I'm like, all right, God, let me quit being hard headed and let me just get off this whole it has to be remote kick. If this is you, and I think it is, let me just go ahead. This job been sitting here. It was like he did not let anybody else get it. He's just like, as soon as you get over this whole it has to be remote thing and go apply. And as soon as I applied, like within days of me applying, I had a request for an interview. Within days of me doing the interview, I was hired. Like when I tell you God did a quick work, and the position that I got hired for, I am so qualified for it. Like the qualifications that they listed is just like, yep, got that, yep, got that, yep, got that. So now let me tell y'all also another reason why I was kind of like, I don't think that's it. God, are you sure? It wasn't just the remote thing. The remote thing was a big part of it. But the other part of it was it had to do with special education. And me having been a special education teacher before, and, hate to say it, but I did not have the best experiences working in public schools. And that is putting it mildly.
Really?
That is putting it mildly.
Anybody from Chicago
That's putting it mildly.
knows that, yeah.
Yeah. I had some pretty
That's crazy.
traumatic work
That's crazy.
experiences. And it's not even just me. Most people who work in public education are fleeing in droves. I mean, the math is math, and people are like, no, and they are leaving. I left all the way back in 2014. It was bad then. So I can only imagine how bad it's gotten now. So, anywho, excuse me. That was another reason. It was kind of like I didn't even want to look at anything that remotely reminded me of that dark period in my life. And that's when I say when you have bad work experiences, you have to make sure that you're doing everything you can to heal from a process because God may have you revisit something that reminds you of that time. Now, this is your blessing, this is your good thing, but because it reminds you of it's kind of like maybe you had a bad ex years ago named Michael and he did you so dirty and you just like, oh, I will never date anybody else named Michael ever again in life. And God could have like the best person for you. And it's your husband. And you go on your first date. You're like, oh, or somebody ask you, like, oh, what's your name? He like, Michael. You like, the devil is a lie. Don't bring me no more.
Leave Michael alone. Leave Michael alone. Michael's all right.
I mean, I'm using a humorous example, but that was it. And it was like different. It's like, okay, yeah, you did that before and it was stressful and it was bad, but did you do it in higher education? No, you did not. Right?
Yeah.
Totally different environment.
But even if it was back in a regular classroom, if that's where God told you to go, which actually, in some sort of way, it's almost like he brought that back around to you. Like, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to close out well here.
I love it so much. Like, now that I've been doing the job,
like special education,
yeah,
you left on a bad note, and so now it's like, okay, I'm gonna give you a different environment to do this in again.
I love those students. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I totally see God all in the process, and it's just been amazing.
But once again, this idea of letting God guide the process.
Yes.
And
because he knows better than you.
And submitting to that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little easier said than done, because I think a lot of us, it's not that we don't want to follow the Lord. We just are used to doing what we know to do.
Yeah.
Right? We're just used to okay, I'm deciding to do this, so I'm just going to do it. What do I need to pray about it for? Yeah. But I think that we have to train ourselves, to surrender, right? And we talked about that in previous episode.
Absolutely.
We got to train ourselves to do that. And God knows what you need. So
he knows what you need and he will provide it for you.
So kingdom business, I'm telling you that kingdom business is a lot more fun than just doing business on your own. I mean, God will take you places you never thought you'd go.
Never. Let me tell you. Now, here's something else, because I'm still going to speak about this job piece. Like, my boss is amazing, everything. Like, this job has been a total God hookup. But when you get a job, if you're doing entrepreneurship and you get a job to supplement your income or to whatever the reason, be a good steward of that position.
Oh yeah.
Be a good
big deal.
Represent do your job as unto the Lord.
Big deal.
Do your job as unto the Lord. That means operate in a spirit of excellence when you go. Don't be in there making God look bad.
Don't be stealing pens.
He said, don't be stealing pens.
Making copies for church.
Right.
Printing out your choir music on the printer.
Listen, just do the job.
Can't say I haven't done
your ability. But I mean, be a good steward, rep the kingdom well. See how you can be a blessing to your boss. Like, go above and beyond, Don't just go, well, I'm going to do the bare minimum so I can get the check because I'm really going to just do my business. And all I care about is my business. And when I'm on these people's time, I'm going to be doing stuff for my business. No.
And I'm telling you.
That's not why you're there.
I'm going to tell you.
God is not going to bless your business.
It will make things go slow. I did that before. When, I've always wanted to work for myself.
Yeah.
When I was in the university setting and I was there for like 12 years almost, and I wanted to do something for myself so bad, at that time in the area of music that, I would be, taking long lunches and, thinking, no, I mean, everybody does it, everybody's just looking at whatever, searching the internet or whatever, while they're at work, using work time to do stuff that's not for work. But God saw everything I was doing. That's why the stuff never blew up that I was doing, like I wanted it to. And it wasn't until I got to this place where, I was able to submit the business ideas to him that you started to see growth happening, you know? So, and even when, I'll say this, when you get full time, it doesn't stop there. Yeah. It's not like all of a sudden now you free from the job so you can just do whatever you want to do. No, you're still under orders, and that's a big deal. So you're talking about being a good steward. God is challenging me with how good a steward I'm being over the business I have right now. So I'm not, I told her the other day, I said, it almost feels like I have a job, like a regular job where I'm reporting into someone else.
Yeah.
Because God is looking at how I treat my clients. He's looking at how I treat the office. He's looking at, because I want a certain level now. Right. So I didn't get into business to stay right here.
Yeah.
I got into business to thrive, and I've noticed that we've kind of maintained a tread line that just isn't going nowhere. I mean, really like we're stuck at a certain revenue level. And I realized that it was because of stewardship, and it was because my character needs to be improved in some areas. I need to walk in some better integrity on some things.
Mhm.
And so the Lord started showing me these things. I had to change a lot of things about how I did the business.
Yeah.
You know, I had to shave back a lot of expenses. I had to let go of some contractors. This wasn't easy stuff to do. This was really hard. I had to humble myself and, you know, do a lot more of the work myself, you know? And and I'm in this process right now. So I'm not like telling y'all this like, oh yeah, and I did it and now I'm in it right now. Okay. I'm in it right now. But I recognize that, okay, the reason why my income isn't moving is because that's about how much God can trust me with right now.
Mm.
That's about how much he can trust me with.
From faith to faith and glory to glory.
So while it wasn't discouraging, to be honest. It wasn't discouraging. It was actually freeing, because it's like, now I know why my income isn't moving. You know, like what's frustrating is for 18 months, I was just like, we tried this, we tried that.
Nothing is working.
We did all these we made these changes, man. I went in the hotel room and like for 3 days worked on processes. I mean, we did all kinds of stuff and it didn't move. All kinds of stuff. Like but once again, that's about how much he can trust me with. So now I'm challenged to say, okay, Lord, how can I be more trustworthy? And he's starting to show me. You know, he's starting to show me. So it doesn't stop when you finally make it, you know, to full time. You know, you still
That's just the beginning.
Yeah, you just getting
now
started.
the real work begins.
But then now I feel incredibly humbled that God even trusts me to have a business full time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, when we get a job full time, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? When you get entrusted with a job, like God is entrusting you with that job. Like if you're taking a kingdom mentality to it. So with you going in to your new job, looking at this thing as a trust, looking at it as a like I want to be a good steward. Like I want to be a blessing to these children and to, you know, to these to the faculty and all of that.
Yeah.
Like that's the way to be.
And it's God knew. See, I'm thinking this whole remote thing. God knew I needed to get out the house. God was like, she needs to get out the house.
Makes a difference. It's nice to see adults every once in a while, right?
To see other adults. It's nice to, you know, because you could just be in this vortex, honey, like with kids running around you all the time.
Well, being a homeschool mom for several years at this point, like you've gotten so used to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, God knew you just needed to just get out the house for a second. And they need to miss you a little bit.
Let me tell you, that has been so good for them to see that mommy gets up and she goes and does other stuff and she makes impact in the lives of other people outside of us. It's helping to humble them a little bit.
Right. So they don't take you for granted. So
yeah, like they saw me do little stuff here and there, like, oh, mommy's out, she's doing client work. Oh, mommy has to go do TV or something. But that's different. That's different than
when
day.
Yeah. You have to do it regularly.
Yeah. They're like, oh, yeah. So
yep. So any more thoughts on, you know, what entrepreneur is?
Entrepreneurship is, so we said it's work. It's not for the weak. I would say it's not for the selfish.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about you and what you can get out of it, you know, especially when you're a kingdom entrepreneur.
Sure.
You know, it's how can I take what God has given me, thinking about the parable of the talents, you know, how can I take all the talents that God has given me and the gifts he's given me and give them back to him better than, you know, what I was given? Like, how can I like grow it?
Yeah.
And say, look, you gave me this. I did this with it. I did this. I did that. I did that, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. In that parable, the guy who returned the talent back exactly the way he got it, he was called wicked and lazy.
Wicked and lazy servant.
Like,
you didn't do nothing.
What? You did nothing with this? Like, you know, I mean,
now you know you could have did something with that talent. You ain't do nothing.
So whatever level that you're at right now, God is looking for you to like double and triple that thing, right? Absolutely. So he's like, okay, so you got a job, right? Maybe you have your business on the side. Maybe you just started it, right? Maybe your clientele isn't what you want it to be, right? Maybe you're imagining a certain type of demographic, but this demographic keeps finding you. Guess what? That's who God is trusting you with. And how can you make their process and their experience that much better? You know?
Absolutely.
And so for me, I had to, because God he gave me another business idea. And that business idea has a lot more upward mobility. And, I was kind of, sometimes God will give you an idea before it's time, for you to really go all out in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking at my current clientele like, y'all just a stepping stool to get to this other thing. But that ain't it. Like my attitude was wrong. So God had to take me back to say, no, you need to really, really appreciate, the clients that you have right now. Cause I gave you those clients. What?
Come on.
So it may not be the money that you want right now, but I'm entrusting you with them. And so you need to go ahead and be a good steward. So that's where I'm at. I'm just focusing on really doubling what I have, doubling what I have. And I'm starting to see God move. I mean, people find us. We don't even advertise like that.
Come on.
People just find us. It's the wildest thing, so God will do it.
Yeah. Another thing I want to say entrepreneurship is necessary.
Wow.
It's necessary. Now, I know somebody in the comments don't be trying to do me like y'all did Tabitha Brown. I know somebody gonna say, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. It ain't for everybody.
Well, must be nice.
All this crazy stuff. It's necessary though.
Now, why is it necessary?
The reason I say it's necessary is because I personally think that God gave each of us something we could do, some unique gifting that could give us wealth. And it says in the Bible, he's given us the power to get wealth. I think that power to get wealth has to do with our unique bent and what he's called us to do. Sure. The reason why I say it's necessary is because we each have a God-given something, that doesn't mean that something has to turn into a full-fledged, business, right, whatever. It doesn't have to be brick and mortar. It could be an online something. But I feel like the reason it's necessary is because in these last and evil days, God does not want us dependent on the world system. He wants us to have something, because there's going to come a time, and some will argue that time is already here, where just being a Christian is going to make you a target.
No, that's all right.
You ain't did nothing to nobody.
That's all right.
Just, unfortunately, we're seeing it with these tragic school shootings, or just there's a whole antichrist mindset that's
no one wants to say it,
all permeated in through the culture. And as we get closer and closer to the coming of the Lord, it's only going to get worse. Well, God knows that, and the reason why I say entrepreneurship is necessary is because if everybody who's at the top, who's an employer, is wicked, and they just, like, we getting rid of all the Christians off our payroll, we do not want y'all here, like, you know what I mean? What are we going to do? Just all be homeless? God wants us to, it's necessary because it's not just for you. You're able to create opportunities for other people and be a blessing to other people. And so in this hour, it's necessary, and you may not be the one that's going to be an entrepreneur. God may call you to go help another kingdom-minded entrepreneur out.
But somebody has to create
the companies
for people to work at.
Yeah.
So, I would agree.
I mean, if we're just looking at this over 300,000, that's a staggering number of Black women who've been kicked out of the corporate workforce. If we had all of these other amazing Black-owned businesses and things that they could go work for, and a lot of us have the businesses, but because we didn't start it a long time ago, the businesses are just starting, so they're not at a level where we can say, "Oh, you 300,000 people, come work for us, come work for us."
It's like that. Just come on over.
It should be a wake-up call. And that's why I don't like when our people act like victims. It's like at some point you got to stop waiting for somebody to give you some opportunity. And if they're not giving it, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, if they're being racist, if they're just not treating you fairly,
on.
move on.
Bye.
Move on.
Yeah.
Go someplace where your talents and your giftings will be accepted and not just tolerated, not despised or any of that. Go somewhere else. And my thing is, when you go somewhere else and you make all of this money, and when you're solving problems, when you know how to solve other people's problems and solve them well, very well, it will get to a point where you'll get into what the Bible talks about. Your gift will make room for you and
Yeah.
bring you before great men. And when it brings you before them great men, they ain't gonna care what color you are.
I was gonna say that.
They are not gonna care.
I was gonna say,
As long as you can solve their problem,
yeah,
that's all they're gonna care about.
yeah. I was gonna say, become indispensable. I mean,
Yeah.
you get to a place where, right, you're bringing so much value to the market that, the most stone cold racists will hire you because you're gonna make them some money.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm just
And
saying,
you with gritted teeth, like, I don't.
I mean,
But I mean, if they want their problem, they want it answered bad enough, they want their problem solved bad enough, they gonna get whoever.
yeah. So my thing is just keep making yourself valuable.
Exactly. This is the season for really tapping in, really getting with God and saying, God, how can I be indispensable?
Yeah. Yeah.
In this
Exactly.
hour? And that's another reason why some of y'all need to go on and get a job, like Aunt Tabitha said, is because, you're trying to do a business and you gotta, and I know we're gonna let y'all go, but y'all can tell this is firing me up.
Yeah.
You're trying to do a business, and one of the main things you need to do when you're doing a business is to do your research. What kind of certifications do you need? What kind of pieces do you need to have the knowledge that will make you super successful at this business? That stuff costs.
Training,
Yes,
professional organizations. Now, I'll say I'm on the other end of this, or I'm on the other side of the argument on that, meaning I'm kind of like a bootstrapper. So I've always started businesses with pretty much nothing, but eventually they needed money. I mean, there's always something. But so it really depends on, I think it depends on the kind of business that you start.
Yeah.
Because some businesses, it takes longer to turn a profit just because of the nature of that market.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just don't know the market that well, and it's just going to take you a while to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's just the person too. I mean, sometimes depending on your personality type, like I know for you, you're like a learner, so like for you, to have more certifications gives you more confidence to be able to serve your clients, right? Whereas
like enhance my skill set.
Whereas someone like me, I'm like, if I could do the thing, well enough, I'm gonna just go out there and sell some stuff, and then I'll get better. You know what I mean? So then I incrementally start building my skill set, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on how you operate, but then also right the industry you're in.
Yeah.
I mean, digital marketing. I mean, people they know they need it.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do a lot of convincing. But in a case of coaching,
like being a corporate trainer,
there's a little bit more persuasion that makes you go there, and then you also might have more competition based on
there's tons of competition
based on who you're talking to. So there's a lot of things to consider.
Yeah, pretty much everybody on LinkedIn is a coach, a life coach, a speaker, or a corporate trainer. Like everybody and their mama, and that doesn't mean that I'm not supposed to do it. I'm not, I'm not of that mindset. Obviously, if God is telling me to do it, there's a way to do it. But because there are so many other people who do what I do, I have to make sure I stay on top of my training and make sure that I'm constantly looking at what skills are required in this field, right? What are, the corporate clients that I'm going after, what do they look for? What certifications do they look for when they're going down the list and they're like, we need a trainer to come and teach us a workshop? What qualifications are they looking at? It's good to do your research and know what those are. And if you don't have them, go get those certifications so that when they're looking, you can be that person that they're looking for.
Yeah. Now, I will caution people because you can get into a learning, you can get stuck on learning. Okay. You can get to the point where you just getting certifications and you ain't actually marketing the business. So make sure that there's the balance there, right? You know, that you're actually putting yourself out there, because it could be like paralysis analysis, like, well, oh, if I get this, well, now I'll be able to, you already have an excuse. Just go on and start talking to people. Seriously, tell them what you have to offer.
So, yeah, a whole lot.
Yep.
Entrepreneurship is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a lot of work. Entrepreneurship is something to be done with God, not
If you're smart.
yourself. If you're smart. Listen, we're talking about kingdom business. So if you tuned into this show, you already know what we on. So yeah, you're doing it with God. It's not something to go it alone. Any closing thoughts?
It reveals your character.
Reveals your character for sure.
Now deal with it, by the way. So, when you get in there, you'll start to see where you're not doing things the right way. And it just it shows up, and make the corrections.
Absolutely.
It's okay. Make the corrections, get better,
Yeah. So that's all we got, y'all. We could be here talking about a whole other hour. This is going to be such a fun season.
Yeah.
But this whole season is going to be geared towards firing you up and empowering you to be an entrepreneur, get some business. It may be on a smaller scale, it may be on a larger scale, but this is the season for God's people to find some kind of way to use what God gave them in order to get money. It should not be that the world has the power to determine whether or not you can feed your family. And if they just wake up one day and decide, then you in a bread line somewhere. That's not God's best. So as a collective people, this whole season is going to be about not only empowering you for your business, but having the conversations, how we can collaborate with one another to empower each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it. I want you guys to leave us a comment. What do you think entrepreneurship is? Put yours in the comments. I know you may agree with some of the ones we said, but add your own and share this with some other people, and let's keep this conversation going. All right, you guys. All right, again, go to victoriousliving.solutions.com. As always, we've got some free downloadable resources that will help you. We are at the bottom of the third quarter, getting ready to go into fourth quarter soon.
Just like that.
Just like that. So we have our goal setting worksheet that you can grab to go ahead and get your goals so you can get on target for ending 2025 in style going into the new year. And that's it. Keep living victoriously. Bye, everybody.